Hey everyone, this is Sacredforce and this is the combat impression for Nioh 3 latest build. I have already made a general impression before, but I realized that I want to emphasize more on the combat aspect. And many of my viewers who watch my contents are mainly interested in that aspect. As someone who has played for many hours in Team Ninja games over the past years, such as Stranger of Paradise, Long Fallen Dynasty, and Rise of the Ronin, I figured that I should make an in-depth impression, sharing my experience about the gameplay and the design choices made by Team Ninja. With that being said, this part will mostly be about anything that is related to Nioh 3 latest footage that we have seen so far. When we played the alpha demo, we have seen what they have learned from their work in the making of Nioh 3, such as tie shift, parry mechanics, and aerial combat. But looking at most of the new footage from the team and other content creators gave me a better insight of what the developers are trying to accomplish with every new change being made in Nioh 3. And that is what I'm going to cover. They took most of the best elements from their previous games to make Nioh 3, and I am going to highlight each of them. Starting with Stranger of Paradise, there's a system called jobs that has their own specialization with unique stats and abilities, making each job unique with a variety of playstyle to choose from. Up to 28 jobs. It's a lot, but that's besides the point. The cool part is that we get to choose up to 2 jobs during the gameplay, and we can change the job that we're using on the fly whenever we want to. Each job can have its own build with different gears and abilities, which means we can carry up to 2 different builds thanks to the job system. So what we can possibly do with 2 jobs is that we can build 2 playstyles. One of the popular methods that were used in this game was having the first build being our main job, where we play with our favorite job, while the second build, called a sub job, will have unique buffs or powerful ability effects that will help make the main job stronger. It could be another example, one job that focuses on melee attacks and the other job for range attacks or magics. Or have 2 melee jobs to get close and personal, or have 2 range jobs to fight from distance. The point here is that we can have 2 different playstyles at once, giving us more options to handle a situation where we can implement an effective solution by utilizing the right builds and constantly changing them during the fight. And that is what we are getting with Nioh 3, the samurai style and the ninja style. Like Stranger of Paradise, each style has their own builds that we can equip with gear sets and guardian spirits, allowing us to create 2 playstyles. We can have 1 styles that will make the other style stronger or effective. For example, we can either focus on ninjutsu, yokai or omnio build for our secondary style, instead of making everything we need to put into our main style that we want to use. In Nioh 3, we can finally add every stats that we want for our main style, and we no longer have to worry about choosing which stats we have to sacrifice due to the limitation that we used to have with only 1 styles in previous Nioh series. We may even be able to make a living artifact build, where the style that we want to use will greatly benefit from. That is why having 2 styles allows us to make for our own character for the RPG aspect. However, we only have 2 unique styles so far, and they work fundamentally different from each other. The samurai style is our traditional new gameplay styles that we are familiar with, such as stance switch and kippos. With ninja styles, is high-speed playstyle that replicates a Ninja Gaiden experience. Despite having only 1 stances, they have air control like double jump, air dash, and wind path. They also have access to ninjutsu skills, and it's not just ninjutsu tools, it's also skills that adds more movement to your character. Now, for what I've played so far, there's certainly going to be a moment where one styles will do better than the other style. Let's pick ninja style for example. When it comes to exploration, they can move easily with extra jumps and they feel faster to travel with. I have even encountered a section where platforming is a thing, where you can easily fall to the lower ground, restarting a section and your progress all over again. Since samurai stars do not have that extra mobility, they will have a hard time going through that section, especially when wearing heavy armor. In my personal experience, using samurai style is more effective against bosses. Of course, the stance switch and key post mechanics allows them to have many options to handle any situation. They can also manage their ki more effectively during combat, which makes them more versatile to use. Ninja style, however, is missing some of these benefits to ease the fight, especially against human bosses. Which brings me to another point. We can have samurai style to wear heavy armor and survive longer with more defense and not getting staggered by any attacks. They will feel more in combat than ninja style in that scenario, where we need to move around quickly. We can switch to ninja style. If we need more defense, we can use samurai style instead. They also have a new skill called art proficiency. When the gauge is full, we can use a strong attack or a martial skill at no cost of our stamina. So it is a good way to tank any damage without depleting your ki, especially how much ki we spend on attacking while wearing a heavy armor set. That is just one of many examples that we can find. Being able to carry two builds at once can really promote our creativity with our playstyle. It allows us to plan our approaches carefully between our builds and be proactive as swapping between samurai and ninja styles, so that we as a player can adapt to various situations through decision makings and actions of making the most effective use of our playstyle. The best part is that it's not mandatory for everyone to use both styles. Everyone can definitely play with only one style to finish the game. The option is just there for those who are willing to take a step further in the gameplay and add more flavor to their playstyle. The job system in Stranger of Paradise was just perfect for the RPG aspect, and the Team Ninja is trying to bring that experience to Nioh franchise. I can tell that the deflect mechanic is inspired by the fluidity of Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Deflecting in the direction where we want to move allows us to move around while parrying enemy attacks, giving us a purpose of repositioning ourselves during the fight. Jumping also feels similar, the way how I am used in both games. The control is consistent, direct and easy to grasp, which feels great. But what I really want to bring attention is how these little details can change the flow of the gameplay. Because it's not just about the deflect or jump mechanics that will change the gameplay, but it's what comes after those mechanics and how many aspects are coming together with those mechanics to create a new flow of the gameplay. Thanks to the deflect mechanic, it is possible to land a hit between enemy attacks, switching between offense and defense constantly during combat. There's even a false moon parry that allows us to deal greater damage for greater risk, and gives us an option to choose whenever or not to take advantage, striking an enemy with a powerful counterattack. Nioh 2 can also do that in some way, but the options are way more limited than what Nioh 3 can bring to the player, and every weapon can now benefit from it. Not only does the deflect mechanic change the flow of the gameplay, but also the jumping mechanic. It may sound like a simple mechanic at first, but it gives the player an extra option, a new opportunity and depth that the Nioh series were missing. Like, instead of just deflecting every attack, there could be a moment where jumping could be a better choice, landing a good hit that would have not been possible, or doing something stylish through acrobatic maneuvers that can also be cool to show off. Ninja style will greatly benefit from the mechanic, since they have many tools that synergize well with jumping mechanic for aerial combat. That might be their unique specialty that separates them from samurai styles. Those are the things that Team Ninjas have added to Nioh 3, because of how Wulong Fallen Dynasty work well with those mechanics. That game had many things going on when it comes to the gameplay. We have deflect mechanics to parry enemy attacks. We can jump over enemies to reposition ourselves, and we have martial skills that are heavily inspired by Chinese martial arts. And with those Chinese martial arts, they even have some attacks that gives our characters some acrobatic movement, like how our character can avoid getting hit by lowering the hitbox or leaping over an attack while attacking. There are many more situational movements similar to this that exist in Wolo, where our character was so close of getting hit by an attack and avoiding it altogether. The way to deflect and jump mechanic were designed allows the player to synergize properly with many of those aspects of the gameplay. Team Ninja have designed it in a way to allow the player to experience those moments by mixing many of those aspects together, making the gameplay thrilling and intense through Chinese martial arts. It's one of the best tricks that they always manage to bring into gameplay. They want to make the combat feel like a dance, fighting against enemies by creating a flow between offense and defense, and they are bringing that experience to a new tree. I have seen many skills that were available during the event, and I can say for sure that we are going to get an insane amount of options to mix them together and get a good flow of the gameplay. The deflect and jump mechanics will greatly expand upon that design by making the combat more thrilling and intense. They will contribute to create many cool moments for the player to express their skill. How Rise of the Ronin have inspired Nioh 3. There's not much to say for me with Rise of the Ronin, since it's mostly what they have learned from making open world, while exploring the limitation. What we got at the end is an open field, which I'm happy with. Ever since I've played Monster Hunter World, I figured that this open field model would be perfect for Nioh 3. It gives the player some space and freedom to explore, especially in co-op mode, where we can finally play with other players in the world. Besides the open field aspect, there's one detail that I like to bring in this video, which might affect many enemies in Nioh 3. From every encounter that I've faced so far during the event, there is only one boss that has caught my attention: Takatsugi Shinsaku. At first he was fighting like a normal human boss, and a tricky one. He tends to mix many of his attacks, while his guardian spirit supports him with range attacks. He does reminds me a bit of how most bosses fight in Rise of the Ronin, especially with his familiar combat styles, until he did that one attack. He was able to use a burst attack with another burst attack, which is the first time in Nioh franchise. For those who are unfamiliar with burst attack, it's a dangerous attack with a red aura that deals a lot of damage, and we can counter them with a mechanic called burst breaks to parry them. Normally in the Nioh series, every enemy stops after the first burst attack if we miss the timing. Some of them may launch a barrage of attacks before stopping, making burst attacks very dangerous. This time, it is possible for them to use more than one burst attack, which makes them more difficult and aggressive. Sure, we may have more chance to counter them with how often they were used, but if a player misses the timing, they will easily get destroyed. In Rise of the Ronin, there are some bosses that use more than one burst attacks to mix up their attack patterns, or retaliate with another attack or burst attack after being countered successfully. There are even a few bosses that never stop using it, and unless you counter them, they will combo you until you are dead. The way how the enemy behaves in that game is the most developed I've encountered so far, with the amount of mix-ups and attack pattern that they use with burst attacks. For those who have not played that game, there will be a lot of surprise. They may get more aggressive with more burst attacks, but it is that design that manages to amplify the intensity of the gameplay, bringing a new experience to Nioh's combat. If that becomes a real thing in Nioh 3, I will be making a guide about it and show how to take advantage of it, so stay tuned for that. Overall, I'm quite optimistic with everything that was shown so far. Nioh 2 was able to create a great action RPG experience with its stance switch and key post mechanics, along with its overwhelming variety of builds. And this new design managed to expand upon that with Nioh 3. The same experience that we all enjoyed the first time we played the Nioh franchise. The key part of making a good gameplay is how every little aspect of the gameplay is coming together, with so many new things that we got from the player side, such as the ninja style and other mechanics. Team Ninja have made sure that we are prepared with every new tool for refreshing gameplay. This tells me that we are going to face something more unforgiving, but I think we are up for the challenge. That took me longer than expected, but I finally finished it while I started. If you have anything to share, comment down below and let us know what you think. And I will see everyone in the next video. Take care.